Hey, let's talk about some sick profits and sick me. Hi everybody, this is Spooky's Revenge, and we're back with another 5-year, $500 account series, Rags to Riches. Apologies up front, I'm very, very sick at the moment. You probably see like this purpleness right here. So I probably shouldn't be making this video, I should be resting in bed, but YOLO, not every day is a good day. So I want to show you guys like the impact that days like today can have and why we don't want to do a lot on days like this, because I can't think straight. So let me get my face down here. And today, what I've done for this episode is I've kind of written everything down ahead of time. So this is more of a recap. But I wanted to talk about the strategy that I started with last time. So let me get my... yeah, all right, so there we go. So this is the buy and sell chain for MBI. So let me just go ahead and pull up that. So if I go here, I click orders. And the topic for today is going to be dollar cost averaging. So... at its very simple root, this is what I want to demonstrate. Let me just go up here. I have it somewhere, I thought. If I don't, oh well. All right, so I'm just going to draw it fresh. So the idea here is that if I'm looking at a chart, okay, and I place a buy, let's say we've got some situation like this, and then a hard sell-off, and then we do one of these situations, and then it just comes back down, right? So just looking at a generic chart example here. If my strategy is just to buy a higher high, higher low, and then a confirmation to the upside, I would place my first buy here after this bottom validates. Just a very quick and dirty strategy. I'm not saying this is the master strategy that's going to make you millions of dollars, but it's easy enough to trade trend reversals and stuff like that using something simple. So if I buy a share here, okay, my cost basis, or my average per share, will be up here. All right, and then if I repeat that same process, so I got a higher high here and a higher low, and I place my buy right there, that's two buys. Okay, and assuming I'm using the same dollar size position for each, that should put my average somewhere in the middle, right? And basically, I've done the math. There's no way, like, I know a lot of people get confused about this topic, but if the dollar sizes are equal, the average will be right in the middle. If one is disproportionate, that'll offset that line up or down. I used to, a lot of people tend to feel like it's the number of shares, and they try to scoop low-cost shares instead, and that's not the way it works. It's just the dollar amounts that you're putting in. So if I put a buy here and a buy here, right, and the price comes back up to my break-even, I can sell what I've just bought, or a small piece of it, and reduce it back to the size of this original buy. And in effect, all I've done in that case, if I just erase these, right, so if I'm selling this piece that just made a profit, okay, I'm getting rid of it. All I'm really doing is moving this first buy down to here, right? So hopefully that makes sense. I'm just adding a little bit of money to lower my average and then reducing my risk exposure back to that original size, all right? So that's what I did at MBI a couple times. And obviously this is the one that had the dividend adjustment, so it's pretty complicated. That's why I'm making a couple episodes, sorry, on this. This price should obviously be much higher, but they had the $8 adjustment up and down. So either way, we drew the box. We knew it was going to probably pop out of that box. It did. I added a couple shares to lower my cost basis after the adjustment. And then as soon as it broke over here, I reduced it back down to that one share because that's all I care about, right? So if we look at the option chain, or the buy and sell chain here, I bought 5 shares at $10.80 for a cost of $54. Then I bought 4 more at $10.90 for a cost of $43.60, so $97.60 in total. Then I sold 6 about $2.50, or I'm sorry, $1.50 above that for a net credit of $74.88. And then I sold another one at $13.09 for another $13.09 credit, and then I sold one at $13.44 for a $13.44 credit. All right. Then I bought 2 more, so there's a cost to that. I'm paying money and getting shares. At $5.87, this is post-adjustment. And then I bought 1 more at $5.75, and then I bought 3 more at $5.57 for these respective debits. And then I sold 6 at $6.45. So all this while, I'm just moving my average down over time. And then once I got above my break-even, I sold those 6 shares that I bought right here. So I bought 6 shares over the course of time, right, to build it down into the 643 level, right? And then I sold 6 of them, so all but 1 share 2 cents above my average, just so that there's no confusion about where it gets filled. And that gave me a net credit, sorry, of $38.70. So altogether, if I took all these up and I added all the debits and the credits, I spent a total of $131.80, and I was paid $140.11 just for the share P&L. However, I also collected the $8 special dividend, which is nice, and I also still have that one share left over at $6.43 that I paid for it. So overall, if I add up the difference between my debit and credit, my $8 special dividend payout, and the share that I currently have, which I can sell at any time, that's a net P&L of $22.74, which is pretty good because my position now is 643. Sorry. And I've raked in, several times that, almost 4 times that amount. So it's a pretty easy strategy as long as you do it right. If you don't do it right, what you're going to do is throw a bunch of bad money or good money at bad positions, and then you're not going to be able to reduce effectively if the position doesn't come back up to your break even. Or if you put too much in up front, you're not going to have enough leverage over your cost basis, and then it'll just keep your average nice and high, and then you won't be able to get it back. So that'll force you to commit even more money, and it's a cycle, right? So the advantage here is that we know we can break that cycle. And, if your risk tolerance is high enough to do stuff like this, like right here, for example, on NEO, I was expecting a retest and a push. We didn't get that, right? So I had one contract at 40 cents on the leap. And then obviously it fell down. I identified a support level and I placed a second buy down here for 2 contracts. And then I reduced that as soon as the, let me just draw this chart here. All right, so my cost per contract was up here at 40 cents, okay? And I got it back here. This is a leap, so I'm not looking for 10% profits on this. I'm okay to hold it for several months. And then I placed my second buys down here. I bought 2 contracts at 25 cents, okay? And what that did is it took 2/3 of the range between here and it pushed my average down to right there, okay? And once it got back above that right here, I just sold a contract this morning and I reduced my risk exposure. I cut the position size down, and I still keep that nice low average. So it's pretty cool. It's just an easy way to just build a position down over time, but that doesn't mean it's simple. So if you're not comfortable with this, you can always just cut the position with a very tight stop loss and then re-enter it when it's appropriate. There's no wrong answer here. You just have to be careful if you do it this way. And that's kind of why I just want to show you guys how I do it. And I don't do that with every position, obviously, because that would not be well. It wouldn't work out well a lot of times. So did it with MBI. Did it with the Neo Leap. I've done it with a bunch of these guys. One that I am currently waiting for to put another buy in is going to be MDAI. It is a low float. That's 5.64 million. And they've got 11 million more shares restricted, so I don't want to catch this during an offering. But this one has a super low float, and I can always average down appropriately, and then reduce my position size back to those 10 shares if I wanted to. I think I did it with HTHT. Yeah, I did it with HTHT as well. I just bought the 1 share. So if I look at orders here, you can see I bought one at $35.99, second one at $31.50. So my average is right in between, $33.75. And I have a sell order right here for 1 share to reduce it as soon as it pops back over this level at $33.75 or $33.77. I'm doing it with CIO and any of the ones that I had to recover, basically, from the special dividends. I typically prefer to do this. Now, if it's something that I plan to hold for a while, like Clip or Tesla or Johnson & Johnson or Schwab, those 6 core positions, I'm not really concerned with whether I add higher or lower on those, because I'm dollar cost averaging into them with the intent to hold them, not to reduce the position. So if it goes down, I get a nice discount, and then that's even more divvies. If it goes up, I average up. It's still a stable position, and I'm okay adding to it because I get those dividends over time. So not too worried about these. Now you can see that if we look at Clip here, for example, it had some pretty hard sell-off, and that did suppress the portfolio value a little bit. But again, I'm not worried about this because it's a long-term high-yield position. And overall it's going up, and it's a Chinese internet ETF, so not too worried about it. Same with Tesla. It's a it's synthetic covered call ETF based on Tesla. So pretty confident in this one, but it is a high risk, high violence position. So you can see it's got major peaks and valleys here. So I'll probably be considering adding some to these before the end of the month if I want to. But overall, I want to kind of keep some cash available for managing the rest of these, just because the special dividends have kind of slowed down a little bit, so I don't want to keep too many positions open. And this is something I'll make in the next episode about diversifying by yield specifically. But for right now, I just wanted to pop in here and show you guys that there are many ways to trade, and just having a plan in place and following it consistently, and being patient enough if you're doing something like this to make it meaningful, can give you a lot more options. So this is just a nice tool to have in my toolbox. It's not something I'm going to do for every single trade that I have. So I just want to make this episode, despite the fact that I'm really sick. It might not sound like it now in my voice, but I'm trying to take it easy as much as possible. And it's really important on days like this to just understand your psychology. And I'm not going to be looking at any charts for anything to trade today. I know myself, I'm not thinking clearly, so there's no reason to put risk on the line, even on a small account like this. So it's just, I'm taking a day off. I'm trying to do some behind the scenes work and focusing on life. But I'm not going to be looking at a chart. This is an absolute bottom priority. There's no reason for me to try to force trades and make decisions while my body is stressed out. Because when your body's stressed out, your mind gets stressed out, and those decisions become very blurry. So I'm going to end this episode here. Appreciate you guys all watching, and I will catch you next time when I'm feeling better, hopefully. Bye.